How's it, guys? This is Davey FP, and welcome back to the Deadline with Davey live stream. 1 minute late, but thanks to those of you who in chat pointed that out. But quite a quick turnaround from Gameweek 12. So hopefully you guys have got your teams in order. If you have not, don't worry. You still have 30 minutes to get those teams finalized. A lot to talk about this week, especially with that captaincy debate. I'm probably going to postpone that whole discussion a little bit longer because I don't really want to repeat the whole discussion for people that come in late. So we'll talk about that in a couple of minutes' time. As you can see on screen there, I have not made any transfers this week, so we will be doing a live transfer. Just because I want Diego Jota out, and I think there's a couple of options that we can look at that price bracket. So I'll be talking about those options as we go along, and then we'll finally do the transfer. Maybe a little bit towards the end of the stream, maybe a little bit more towards the middle. Just kind of depends how we're feeling. Just FYI, I'm pretty much going to be taking a punt this week for Jota, so don't be too surprised if you see a player that you don't even know or haven't even considered yet. In terms of the team selection, if you guys haven't gone and check that out, we did a whole review on Gameweek 12, so if you want to go look at the rank or anything, that video is on the channel, as well as the preview where we went through an in-depth analysis of other options, better options that I'm probably considering and that you should probably go for. But we've got a lot of people in chat here saying, how's it? Also a couple of questions about rather random stuff here. Pizza or burger? I'll probably go with a burger there. I also have a lot of how's it guys. Hopefully your midweek game week is going to be absolutely sensational this week. I'm actually enjoying it. This whole festive period's jam-packed with football, so a lot of us can go watch it. I also saw G Bell saying, how's it going, G Bell? And then also Erwan Hassan saying, same transfer out, Jota like you, bro. We'll follow you. So appreciate that blind faith. Hopefully it's going to be a good game week for us. Also, a lot of questions about defender rotation. It seems like this week a lot of people have some fixtures that they are considering playing and who aren't. Razmit saying, hope Cancelo starts. I hope so as well. That's probably the main kind of headache of a lot of people's game weeks is going to be this whole City rotation and kind of predicting who starts. I don't think Cancelo is going to start. That's just kind of my personal opinion. I think that he's probably going to be on the bench. I saw some rumored lineups, and when I say rumored, please don't think that these are gospel. They are just people's kind of predictions on them. And basically what people have been saying is they think that Cancelo might start because they're expecting West Brom to be quite defensive and Cancelo's better going forward. And then they think that it's going to be Cancelo and Mendy. But I think it will also be Kyle Walker. You kind of never know. If you're saying thoughts on my -12, I didn't exactly see what transfers you did. I just saw that you took, I think it was Giroud out, which was a little bit surprising, but I think a lot of people are expecting Abraham to start. But you're kind of going a little bit crazy on the hits there, but seems to be working for you, Buna. You're going for Carvalho, so I'm not going for Carvalho. I'm going to be going for one of the Man City midfielders. We spoke about a couple of them. My favorite there, Fernan Torres. Apologies for that pronunciation. It's Ferran Torres. I've mispronounced it and butchered that one quite a bit. Just the memory is kind of remembering Fernando Torres from Liverpool days. So that's why I kind of am a little bit biased towards that pronunciation. I'm playing my wildcard tips, Jota replacement. So what I would do, I would probably I would go for some Man City options. I definitely would go for Kevin De Bruyne and Fernandes. It's a little bit tough on the wildcard this week because you kind of have to anticipate those doubles that are coming up. Oladapo, so it's a little bit tough. I would just kind of maybe go for players that you think are going to be having the double, which as far as I know, it's going to be West Ham, and then also maybe Newcastle. I think they should have the double game week sometime soon. So if you are using a wild card this week, it's just kind of predicting on those. Maybe get a player like Souček for budget because he should have a double coming up. But otherwise, I would target Man City. I would probably go for someone like Diaz, and then I want to say Cancelo, but because he's cheaper, but you could also look at someone else, maybe like a Kyle Walker or a Mendy. Probably go for Mendy, and then maybe still go for some like a Chilwell. Martinez seems like a good keeper to go for. The front line, I pretty much like this front line. The only maybe player is not Watkins, but I would maybe try and find a way if you're going to be wildcarding now to make sure that you can afford the Spurs assets. I also have another 100 rupees there from Kartik saying, hey Davey, hope you're having a good day. I am having a good day, buddy. Hopefully you as well. Should I sell Mane and get Sterling or bank the transfer? So that's a tough situation to be in because if I didn't have to take Diego Jota out this week, what the move I was planning to do was take Salah out for Sterling. So it's kind of the same situation you're in. If you don't have De Bruyne, then I would do it. But if you already have De Bruyne, I don't think you necessarily have to do that. Look, Mane against Spurs, I kind of always remember him doing well, but maybe that's just some ignorance there. But I still think that Mane could be a good shout against Spurs just because it is at Anfield. But maybe if you don't have Fernandes, you could also look at him as an alternative. But I don't know exactly if I would be moving for Sterling with that kind of move unless you want to captain him, or if you don't have Kevin De Bruyne, as I said. So I probably would just hold off on that move. Bench, Kyle Walker-Peters or Dallas. So if you look at the fixtures here, we have Southampton versus Arsenal. Now, Arsenal, I agree, they have been absolutely dreadful. Going forward, they don't offer much. But I think that if they didn't get that red card against Burnley, I might have been a little bit worrying about that clean sheet towards the end of it, because they definitely were still getting some chances. It's a tough spot to be in, but I think that I would maybe lean a little bit more towards starting Dallas just because of how attacking Leeds are. Now, Newcastle, they are going forward, they are not the worst in the world, but I think that there might be a little bit more of odds of Leeds getting a clean sheet instead of Southampton. So that's who I personally would go for. I would still play my Leeds assets, as I think it's a good fixture still for them. Shouldn't you captain Bruno? Captaining KDB is putting all your eggs in one basket. So that's probably true with especially if I'm going to be bringing a Man City player in, but I do think it's the best fixture, and that's probably going to be a nice little lead into, so we can talk about captaincy and what my thoughts on kind of Bruno Fernandes versus Kevin De Bruyne. So on paper, I think Kevin De Bruyne is the better option here. I just think that this might be, I think that West Brom might have changed their style recently, but they're a little bit more defensive recently, but at the start of the season they were definitely more attacking, so that's why I think they're a more attacking side than Sheffield United are. So I think Sheffield United here are going to be super defensive. I just don't know about that fixture. If Man United don't score in the first half, the game gets on a little bit, that could be quite go down to the ropes there. So that's why I think in terms of on paper, I think that this fixture is definitely better for Kevin De Bruyne. I just think that that's my hands down option. If I had to at the start of the game week say who I would go for, it would be Kevin De Bruyne. The only thing now is this whole rotation worries that everyone is kind of talking about. So a lot of people are saying that Kevin De Bruyne could be rested. Now I just don't know. I don't really understand that too much, because I think in the last 2 Champions League games he's been rested as well. So he's definitely had his rest. There has been this whole talk about his newborn child, and maybe that's keeping him up at night or whatever, but I still think that he's got a good chance of starting this game tonight. I think that Man City, they drop points in the weekend, have to get back on the bandwagon. So I'm really comfortable captaining Kevin De Bruyne, and I think that he's just my better option to go for. Bruno Fernandes is still a great shout to go for. I think both of these two players will do well. I just favor De Bruyne in this case. You could also opt for that whole thing that Man United played the last game week, like the whole last game week of the game, last game of the game week. Apologies. So you kind of hold out that hope for the longest, and if Kevin De Bruyne blanks, then it's a pretty crummy week. But it's still a quick turnaround till next game week. Next game week's happening this weekend. So if you want to take a punt or you want to take a nice differential captain, this is basically the game week to go for. So that's what I think you can kind of go for anyone. Just make sure that you kind of stick with your gut. And I've always just been on Kevin De Bruyne so far. January fixtures are out on Twitter. Ben Krellin tweeted. So what we can do is we can go here. It's going to be a nice little stream announcement if we can look at them. And probably a good fixture to go here. So let's go to Ben Krellin and we can go for... Okay, let's look at it. Just remind me not to get too bogged down by this, because I still have to make a transfer. So these are apparently the fixtures for January. So game week 18 is going to be a big blank. We have a lot of players that are blanking. So this is definitely, I think, our strategy of using the wild card in game week 16. Game week 17, we kind of just chill, just let it happen. Game week 18, then we use the free hit, and then game week 19, we've prepared for it with the wild card. So it looks like here that Liverpool have a double as well. There's Man United and Burnley. In terms of other teams that have, Chelsea also, do Spurs have one? So Spurs don't have a double, which is a little bit annoying, but I still think that Sheffield United fixture looks quite good. So West Ham have a double of Burnley and West Bromwich Albion, which looks like a really good double to have. But there's some good options here, even Leeds. Leeds have Brighton and Southampton. So this looks like good. I'll make a video on this whole announcement, but right now this looks like it's going to be quite a nice game week to use a triple captain or a bench boost or something like that, or use one of the chips. So thanks for that reminder in chat here. I do appreciate it, guys. But I think that we'll shift that a little bit more towards next game week and the game weeks upcoming, because I think we should focus on game week 13 right now. But I will do a video on the double game week so far. Is it a good move to make transfers according to double game weeks if you don't have a wild card? So that's what I would kind of do, Karan. So maybe what you should do is go look at that Ben Crellin tweet and just monitor the situation with those players. That's why I'm personally just going for a punt here on Jota, because I'm wildcarding in game week 16 anyway. But if you don't have a wild card in your back pocket, I would definitely look at some alternatives. You must also remember, though, that the wild card, the second wild card, comes available in game week 17. So what you could do is you could just use your second wild card in game week 17 and prepare for that double game week anyway. So it's not really too much. Are you serious on City lineup? So I don't know exactly what you're saying there, Erwan, but I can't really predict it. But if I had to do a prediction, I still think that Kevin De Bruyne will start. Is that lineup legit? So if you're asking about the lineup of the fixtures, then it is legit, because that's Ben Crellin's basically just tweeting there what the Premier League has announced. -4 for Stones. I don't think I would be taking a hit for a Man City defender, especially with this whole rotation that we don't really know about. Thoughts on Lamptey starting? I'm pretty sure, like, the thing is, if he's fit, he's going to start. So as long as you have a bench replacement for him, you're going to be perfectly fine. Because if he's injured, he's not going to play at all, so you're just going to get your bench option. And if he starts, he's definitely going to be in the starting 11. Is Bowen a good swap for Jota? So I think Bowen is. Grealish is my personal favorite, but I think if I had to go for a cheap alternative, it would be Bowen. So that's my safe option to go for. Bowen or go for Fornals. Either of those two look quite good. Am I spending too much money in my defense? Robertson, Chilwell, and Reece James. So that is quite an expensive defense. However, the Liverpool fixtures do turn pretty quickly, and the Chelsea defenses look quite good. So I don't necessarily think that that's the worst kind of defense to have. If they don't keep on keeping clean sheets, you might have to shift some funds around, though. Lamptey or Taylor to start? I would go for Lamptey. If you have Lamptey, I would start him, because, as I mentioned, if he doesn't come on, he's going to be. If he's injured, he's not going to come on, and if he's back from fitness, he's going to be playing. Basuma as your first bench option. I could go for him. I think I'm a little bit tempted to almost play Taylor in this case instead of maybe Walker Peters. I know I own Ollie Watkins, but a Burnley clean sheet would be quite nice in this one. And 0-0 would be absolutely perfect, because a lot of people own Jack Grealish. Thoughts on Foden starting? Thinking of capping him. I don't think I would go that differential. If you need a really differential captain, then maybe go for it. But I would be a little bit hindered by... if your player doesn't start, he could potentially come on. Chloe saying, hi, I have Sterling and Torres this week. Who would you captain out of those two? I probably would still go for Sterling. I think that Torres will start, but I think that Sterling's maybe a little bit more of a safer option. The lineup that just got posted now. So I'll go up to it, but I don't know if... Yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to be talking about any rumored news. Maybe it is confirmed or something, but I don't really know. There's a tweet that's showing prediction Mahrez are playing. So if it's a prediction, then we can't really use anything of it. But if it is maybe a credited source, then we could potentially use it. But I would be a little bit skeptical about any kind of lineups that you see, especially out of Man City. 15 minutes left, that is true. So if you don't have your transfers in, you should probably get them going. Keanu saying, what is your transfer this week? So the transfer that I'm considering, and I probably will do, is going to be Diego Jota out for Ferran Torres. So that's why I said it's a little bit more of a punt. What my kind of thinking is that I think that he will start tonight against West Bromwich Albion, which I would be happy with. Any other time is kind of bonus from that, because they play Southampton here, and then I could maybe shift them out game week 15, but because I'm using my wildcard game week 16, I think that it's kind of worth just taking a little bit of a punt on him, especially because Bowen faces Chelsea next week, which is not a really favorable fixture for me. So I'm perfectly fine with taking a punt on someone like Torres this week, because of that wild card in the back pocket. So that's going to be my transfer this week probably. So if you have to go do something else, then you can go off, and then that should be the move that I am doing. G. saying, I live 1 mile from Man City's ground, but still have no idea. Telescope out the window on the training pitch. That would be quite helpful if you can manage to get a sneak peek of something. Diaz or Stones, asked Dennis. I would go for Diaz. Whether he starts tonight is yet to be seen, but I definitely think that for the long stretch of the season, I would rather have Diaz. Stones is in great form as well, but I think that Diaz is probably the more assured starter from that Man City lineup. Jesus, if you're asking just Jesus if you should bring him in, I wouldn't bring him in. It's kind of the situation with your Man City options. I wouldn't take them out. I wouldn't bring them in. And I would be skeptical of captaining them. I'm just going for the Kevin De Bruyne because I think out of those starting lineups, he's probably the most assured starter. Touch wood there. Hopefully he didn't jinx it. Cresswell or Zuma. So this week, I think that I would be fine with starting my Chelsea defenders. If you're asking who to bring in, I would go for the Chelsea option because I think I trust their defense a little bit more. Justin or Taylor. So Taylor against Aston Villa. You probably have an Aston Villa outfielder, so I wouldn't maybe look at him. And I think that the Justin fixture, although it is Everton have been a little bit hit or miss recently. So can we get Chelsea lineup? Just about to buy Chilwell or James, not decided. So that situation, I think both of them are pretty good. I think that this midweek might be a little bit sketchy on the defenders because you always have Azpilicueta in the wings waiting to come on. I think that both of those are the two main or first choice players, so I wouldn't be too fussed about them. I would kind of just go for, if you need budget, go for James, but if you have the money, just go for Chilwell. Rashford for 1 week punt. You could also look at him if you have no other fires to put out. I think anyone, if Bruno Fernandes is a good shout this week, the entire Manchester United team is going to be. If you want to go for someone like Cavani as a 1 week punt, you could also look at him. Just make sure that he's back from fitness. But I think that anyone in that lineup should be good. You just have to basically hope that they start. Arjun saying, should I bring in Martinez for McCarthy and Ward-Prowse or Zaha in the final 11? So out of the whole McCarthy or Martinez, I would start Martinez rather. And Ward-Prowse or Zaha, I think that I might lean a little bit more towards Zaha in that case because he's just a little bit more explosive. Samuel Newton says, have you seen the double game week and blank game week news? I have. We went through it a little bit earlier on. I didn't do much about it. I just kind of looked at it and assessed it from like kind of an overview, like a bird's eye view. I will make a video on that whole double game week announcement though. So just stay tuned for that one if you guys need kind of the news. Kevin Mann saying, get your transfers in, Davey. I will do them soon. Don't worry. I'm kind of just waiting for as long as possible in case we get some news, some magical team news of the Man City lineup. Morris for Podence. I think that you have no other fires to put out. You don't mind if Morris doesn't start tonight. You can do that move. If you have the money for it, you might as well. I have KDB, Morris, and Jesus. Should I go with 3 or transfer 1 out? I wouldn't transfer a Man City option out, especially because it is West Bromwich Albion, so just keep them in your lineups. It's one of those situations, you don't bring them in, you don't take them out, and you just monitor your captaincy. Double up City defense with Stones and Cancelo. Will do Stones to Dyer after game week 15. So that you could do that. Just be prepared for if either of those don't start, because there is the potential that Stones and Cancelo both don't start. That's just kind of situation we're in with that Man City defense. It's got a lot of rotation there. But for the long run, that's not the worst move in the world. Mane to Sterling with my free transfer. I would be tempted by that move because obviously if you don't have Kevin De Bruyne, it's a good way to cover the Man City attack. But if you do, it's a nice way to double up. And I think this week, it's a good week to double up on Man City because it's a favorable fixture. How about captaining Torres 1 week punt? So I don't know if I have that much courage to captain Torres, but I definitely have enough to bring him in. But I think that captaining him would be a massive punt to go for. Chua or James for a -4, yes or no? Depends who you're taking out. That's the whole situation. I don't usually like taking a -4 for defenders because that means they have to get a clean sheet to counteract that hit. But it depends on who you're taking out. Are you worried that both KDB and Fernandes are rested, contemplating Grealish as a vice-captain? I think it would be super unlucky if both of them are rested. That would be really bad. Let's just put it like that way. I don't think so. I think in a perfect world, both of them will start and hopefully do well. But I think that for both of them to be rested would be quite outrageous, especially because both of them drop points this weekend. And they do have some nice fixtures here, and I think that De Bruyne has a higher chance of being rotated than Fernandes, because Fernandes, if you remember, he was rested for that, I think it was against West Ham in the first half where they were absolutely terrible. Then once he came on, they played a lot better. Should I keep Wilson for the double game weeks because his fixtures are bad after the next two? I would keep Wilson for the little... It depends who you want to bring in. That's what I'm saying. So if Wilson has good fixtures for the next two, then just keep him. Why Torres over Mahrez? Because I can't afford Mahrez. I can only afford someone that is 6.9 or less. So Mahrez is a little bit more expensive. Torres or Sterling? So I think that you have to go for Sterling in that case. But I think Torres is about double what Sterling is. 8 minutes, so I will make my transfers now, so if you guys have to head off early or something like that. So we'll be taking a punt on Torres. If this is purely a punt, so I don't know if I'd recommend you guys doing this. I probably would go for someone safer like Bowen. That could be quite good. Bowen or Fornals, or go for Ward-Prowse. Those are both safe options, but with the wild card in the back pocket, I think we're going to take a punt on my boy Fernan Torres. No, it's Ferran Torres. Apologies for that one again in the whole team selection and the team previews. So that's who I'm going to go for this week. I mean, if he doesn't start, it's not the end of the world. I think that he does get minutes over these next two. So that's what I'm kind of banking on, because that would be quite a nice move to go for. I think a lot of people will be saying that this is quite an outrageous move, but that's what I said. It is an outrageous move, so that's why I don't recommend you guys doing it. So go for someone safer like Bowen. Juvan saying, good luck, thanks, good luck to you too. Transferred Son and Chilwell out to Fernandes and Taylor. Am I mad? You're not mad. I think I would have been a little bit, I think as long as you had some thought into the whole Son out debate, because I think Son and Kane could still do well against Liverpool, because they play a very counter-attacking football, and Liverpool hate playing a low line, so they're always playing a high line, so they definitely could get something out of that. Will Foden or Torres? That one's a tough one to go by. I honestly don't know who's going to start out of these two. I think that Foden I think both of these two players have a good chance of starting tonight, but I just favor Torres. I don't know why. I just have a little bit of a feeling that maybe he could perform better if both of them start. Vardy out after this game week, so just maybe look at the fixtures that they have. Unfortunately, this season there's so many kind of big hitters that are performing well, so I probably would take Vardy out after this game week, considering these next two fixtures, and also maybe shift some funds into midfield. Why not go for Gross in Brighton? Because he's currently playing at a centre mid spot, and I don't really favour that. If he was playing at a cam spot, it's a different story. But I think right now, I would rather prefer a Brighton player that's more upfront. They should hopefully get some more points. You're holding some Torres want to watch cards as well. No, I don't actually have FIFA 21 yet. I'm going to be, hopefully maybe get it over Christmas, but I don't know. I kind of took a break from FIFA for a little bit. Man City not going to get a double game week, unlike, say, Bowen. Wildcard available. Yeah, so that's why my wildcard's available. So I don't really care about the double game weeks with this team. I can perfectly make a team for that double game week in game week 16. So that's what my kind of thinking was. That's why it's a nice little punt. McCarthy or Meslier next 3 game weeks. So if we go to goalkeepers here, McCarthy, the next 3, I think Southampton's fixtures aren't the worst. Arsenal and Fulham are fine. Arsenal might be, it depends how they bounce back. Man City obviously is a terrible fixture, but that's for any team. And then in terms of, I actually would favour Meslier in this case, because I think those home fixtures are quite advantageous for Leeds. But I think either two are, there's not much between them. Make transfer valid, so I will do that. I'm going to be bringing in Torres there, so he's going to be here. It's a nice little punt. I mean, it's going to be either happy or sad today or tonight after I look at the lineup and that final result. It's just a punt. I don't really mind if he doesn't perform. That's basically what I'm going to be doing. G-Bell saying 3 minutes left. Remember to confirm the transfer, so he might be a little bit ahead of us there, G-Bell. I think it's about 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Mahrez or Bruno for captain, what do you think? I would lean a little bit more towards Bruno there, because I'm just a little bit worried about the whole Man City situation up front. I just don't know who's going to start. Jeffrey saying Grealish or Ferran Torres, 100% go for Grealish. Grealish would be the best option for a Jota replacement, in my opinion. I just can't get him because I have a lovely triple up already of Steer, Martinez, and Ollie Watkins, and I don't really want to take a -4 to take Steer out. What to do with Justin? I think it's a keep this game week. He's quite an attacking fullback, so I don't think it's the worst. Bowen or Justin, if you're talking about who to start, I would go for Bowen. You kind of always go for the attacker here. Should I get rid of Kane, Ward-Prowse, and Wilson and get Salah and Bamford? I wouldn't do that this game week. I think that Kane, between who's going to perform between Kane and Salah is a toss-up in this case, so just keep Kane rather. When are the double game weeks? So the double game weeks are happening in game week 18 is the blank, and then the double game week is game week 19, as far as I can remember. Lamptey to Cancelo. Will Cancelo start? William, I wouldn't do that move. I would just start Lamptey. I wouldn't bring in a Man City defender this week. It's just too much rotation there. Is Zuma a better option than Chilwell? I don't think Zuma's a better option than Chilwell, but I think Reece James has the potential to be a better option than Chilwell because he is cheaper. Wijnaldum or Torres, I would go for Torres there, Robert. Collier saying 2 minutes left. That is true. So actually 3 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever your clock is saying. So just keep your eyes out for that one. No worries, Lewis. Thanks for dropping by. How much you got left in the bank? I think I've got 0 left in the bank. Yeah, I've got 0 in the bank. So that was basically a match made in heaven there for a Jota replacement for my team. Is there only going to be one blank game week? There probably won't be only one, but I definitely think this is going to be the biggest blank game week that we have. Usually towards the end of the season, we always have a run of a smaller blank and then a double game week. So just keep your eyes on that one. But I think in terms of the free hit, because of the massive amount of fixtures that are being postponed, I will probably use my free hit in game week 18. Zuma or Konza to start. I think that I would probably want both of those to play, but I think because you have Chilwell starting already, I would just go for the double up with Zuma. Son for Bruno with -4 hit. Tyler, I would only do that if you want to captain Bruno. Otherwise, I would keep that move. I don't think Son is a bad option this week. I've spoken about Liverpool and their defensive frailties. They're going to be balls in behind there for Spurs, so I still think it could be a good game. Any updates on the Newcastle vs Aston Villa game? When will that happen? If it's not rearranged in game week 19, it'll happen towards another game week that's available. But as far as I know, they'll probably try and get it into game week 19. But maybe if Newcastle or Aston Villa have a postponed game. How to finance players game week 16 with the Wildcard? I don't know if that's answering your question. Helmi, thanks for dropping by. Good luck to you too. Mapai or Welbeck? I think that's a tough one to go by. I think maybe Mapai. I think that Mapai is maybe the more assured starter. Welbeck is a little bit all over the place, I think, with those substitutions. Vardy or Kane, long term, go for Kane. I think that Kane, after a couple of game weeks, is going to be a season keeper for me. It is time, so it's 1 minute to the deadline, so please, guys, get those teams in. Get those, everything validated. I don't want to have any tears in chat when you guys haven't finalized your captain, and your captain is someone like, I don't know, Steer against Burnley in goal or something ridiculous like that. So get those teams finalized. The deadline is nearly upon us. Rashford or Song, I would lean towards Son in that case. Which two should I start? Klich, Joelinton, Che Adams. I think that I would go for Klich, definitely, and then between Joelinton and Che Adams, probably Adams in that case. Play Taylor or Dallas, I'll go for Dallas. I have Vardy, and unfortunately it is time there. KDB will be rested, says Jose. So that could be true. I mean, it's all going to be up in the air. Hopefully if he's rested, he doesn't come on, because then the captaincy is going to be completely wasted. Or he can come on and he can score a hat-trick. I'm perfectly fine with that one as well. But unfortunately, the time is done. Hello, FPL Focus. Hopefully you're not joining now, because unfortunately the time is done. Vincent's saying time's up, pants down. So if that's how you want to spend your night, Vincent, that's up to you, buddy. Girad's saying like. So yeah, like the stream if you have enjoyed it. Before you leave, like the stream. And thanks for dropping by. Manas saying deadline over. Sterling or Bruno for captaincy. The captaincy unfortunately has been decided already because the time is done. But I think I would have leant a little bit more towards going for that Bruno captain. But with that being said, unfortunately, guys, we're going to have to end the stream shortly because there's not much to talk about after the deadline unless there are some questions about some arbitrary things besides FPL. But thank you for joining. I really do appreciate you guys dropping by. I know it's been quite a quick turnaround in terms of videos, So I appreciate all the support that you guys have shown on the videos and on the stream. And hopefully this game week 13 is absolutely sensational and the green arrows are again in our favor. But I'm going to be signing off. This has been Dave the FPL and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.